Watcher, welcome to the workshop. Today I'm unboxing a new tool. There are 2 or 3 tools that I've had my eye on for about 2 or 3 months, and they're the type of tools that when you're doing a few projects really make your life easier. One of them is a bench drill, which I've got one of those on order. One of them is a chop saw or table saw. Haven't managed to get one of those on order yet. I'm still looking back, doing a bit of research on what the best sort of prices are and what I can get for my money, you know, being a small workshop and a poor man's workshop, as it were. And the third item is what I've got here today. This is an oscillating belt sander with a bobbin attachment, so you can do belt sanding and bobbin. So let's open it up and we'll look at it together. And it is the Clarke Woodworker oscillating belt and bobbin sander, model number COEBS1. Okay, what's in the box? Let's have a look what's in the box. Got just an instruction manual. I don't know what these are called, collets are they? These are bits that go on the bottom. These are the bits that go around the bottom of the bobbin to make it the right size for when you use a bigger or a smaller bobbin. Got all the metal bobbins themselves there. Spanners to tighten and loosen. Something there. Nope, that's part of the job. Okay, this is the actual contraption that goes on the top, the sanding belt. So this is what the oscillating belt sits on, and then we've got the machine itself. Okay, so a metal top, it's like a steel top, plastic body, power cord wrapped around here. Okay, on each side you've got one of these screws. Undo both of those, and I imagine that's how you tilt the base down. Okay, this one's got an angle attachment. Okay, you have to push a knob down on the side, and then you can adjust your angles. That's at 45 degrees, 30 degrees, 22.5 degrees, 15 degrees, and flat. Obviously the 45 degree one will come in really handy. And you want to just smooth off a mitre. And that feels sturdy actually. Takes some moving to get it to go. So the bobbins, this is the big one. They have a place to sit in there. It's been really hot for about a week now. Temperatures, it's just been sort of around in the 90s, getting up towards 100 every day. Last night it cooled down a little bit. It's been not so hot today, and this is why. It was just had a massive thunder and lightning thunderstorm, and it's now hammering down. It was really loud, the thunder as well. It's now hammering down, so I'll probably wait for this to stop before I talk you through any more of the video. Okay, I've had a little time to do a little bit of research, read the instructions. So as we know, we've got the sanding belt up here. This takes some time to orientate, because if it's out of plane, the sand wants to rise up and rise down, and then by the time you get this organised, you're finding that this section at the bottom here, which you want level with the table, has gone about a centimetre underneath or half a centimetre up in the air, and it's a bit of a nightmare. Oops. Oh. You can hear the thunder then. I thought I'd... Can you hear that? I thought I'd missed the thunder, it stopped. I thought it was safe to record again. So Now this is all set up. That took about 5 or 10 minutes to actually do that. We can see we've got the bobbin storage here. We have inserts of 1, 2, 3 and 4. There wasn't an insert for the 5th one because that just fits on the spindle itself. It's the same size as a spindle. We've got spaces here for the 3 washers. Now the washers have to be used with the correct washers have to be used with the bobbins. On the side here we've got spacers for the bobbin, the spacers for the bobbins. We've got a space for a spanner, and then this attachment here for when you put the bobbins in, that fits back in. Around the other side we've got more spacers here. There's a gap there, I don't know what's meant to go in there. This is the table adjustment knob I was telling you about. It's fairly awkward. So we've got the belt on. Now I'm going to read the instructions and I'll come back when I've learnt about the bobbins. Okay, to remove the sanding belt it's fairly simple actually. We start off by easing off the nut at the top. Remember to get the washer off. Take the sanding belt off. At the back you've got the table insert which slips into here, and then there's a handy little space at the back to put your sanding belt at the back. You have to choose the right size spacer ring for the right size bobbin. I'm going for the biggest bobbin, so I have the smallest spacer ring. That just slips over there. Then you have to get a one of these, one of the washers. At the back you have the washer, the spindle nut. So that goes, hold on, cross threading it, turn that upside down, spindle nut goes on. At the back you have the spindle nut wrench. We tighten that up and we're good to go. Now let's turn this on, see what happens. Looks like they'll do a good job. Let's put the belt back in so you can see that in action. So in reverse we undo the spindle nut, put that back in its space, get the washer, put that in its space at the front along with the bobbin, take the what's it called, spacer ring out, it goes in its handy little hole at the front, at the side. The table insert comes out. Main sanding belt goes back in. Then we must remember to put the washer on top and then use the sanding belt nut. Now it's important not to over tighten this because it's a nightmare to get undone. So literally that's all I'm going to do, and we can show you this. There's going to be some serious sanding going on in this workshop. So just going back through the instruction for this. This is the belt tensioner. This is what makes this loose. So you put it all the way back over here and it can slip on, slip off of fitting. And it is what you use to loosen off in order to adjust where this goes. Obviously if it's flat it's perfect. If it's up in the air, this side's going to ride up, this side's going to ride down, and vice versa. This is your tensioner adjustment. So literally, if it starts riding up, you turn, I think clockwise, 1/4 turn. So you turn it on, so you turn it on, turn it off, and you'll see what happens. Literally that quickly. You adjust the tensioner and you adjust this 1/4 turn. If you need micro adjustments, adjust it of 1/8 of a turn, but it's what takes some time because it keeps going up and down. And then when it goes up and down, it goes too far down, so you've got to pull the whole thing up again. And when you pull it up, you've messed up your micro adjustments. So, not an easy thing to set up, but well worth spending the time to do it properly. Okay, we're going to try this out with a little bit of just a little bit of MDF. So I'm going to mark a shape on here that I want to take off. So let's just mark a rounded mark on the outside, which I'll be using the belt sander for, and then we can use one on the inside. So if I say I want to round off that shape there, then we can use, well actually we could use the outside of the belt sander, but I won't do that. I'll use the bobbin. So we're going to round off this one here on the belt sander and this one here on a bobbin. Let's give that a go. Left the line on for you to see. I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously some fine adjustments are going to be needed as I get a little bit more used to it, and how much pressure to put on it or not is, you know, it's a little bit wayward there, but as a first effort I'm quite happy with that. Let's change the bobbin and do the other one. Oh, it's really tight. Oh, time for the mole grips. This is what I used the first time. There we are. This comes out. This goes back in. Adjustment goes on. We will use, well, yeah, we'll try the middle one, which I think we'll probably need this spacer. We'll go in there. This will need the big washer. Get the spanner on. So the other one was only meant to be pinch tight. Because it's a spanner, we can do that a bit firmer. Let's try this. Ah, see, we're learning something. This guard for the main sander belt can't be on when you're putting the bobbin on. Here we go. We are learning something. Let's go. I'm pushing quite hard at the moment. Let's lift it up so we don't wear the belt out of the bottom totally. You can tell by the smoke. Got the smoke, the dust, and it seems best used when you've got a shop vac connected to it. There is a there's a attachment on the side where you can fit a shop vac. It's getting pretty dusty in here. MDF fume, dust, not the greatest for your lungs. It's not too bad. I need a smaller bobbin, but this is a practice, isn't it? It's learning as I go. So with the last bobbin, the smaller one. Oops. Damn. Still ridiculously hot, even though the thunder's coming. small bobbin. Take that one out. We use the smallest one. This one is the one with no insert. That just goes over the top. And we put. This is when we get the small washer. Put this over the top. And this should allow us to get those fine adjustments. Let's finish this off. One thing I've noticed is if I push to the right while this is turning, I get a lot less control than if I start to the left and bring it, you know, from left to right. I get more control. I guess it's because of the way that this is spinning. So maybe that's the way to do it, to sort of come in and come around this way rather than forcing it this way against the flow of the bobbin. So it's a bit jerky. This way is definitely the way to go. It's smoother, moving it from the left to the right. So as you can see, we've only done 2 tiny little pieces of sanding, and it is really, really dusty and dirty already. I'm sure there's all dust and dirt inside, which needs to be hoovered out. And what I mentioned about the shop back attachment, right there on the side, you can tack a shop back. I'm guessing that that's going to be the way to go. I'm probably going to buy one of those fairly soon. I've got some of the Ryobi tools, Ryobi tools coming. The 1+ system, so I may order a shop back to go with that, because once you've got the batteries it's a lot cheaper. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with this. It's going to make my projects a lot easier to do. It's going to save me a lot of time and make me a little bit more accurate. I'm going to have a bit more of a play around with this over the next few days, get myself a little bit more experienced and a little bit better at it. So that's my review of the Clarke Woodworker oscillating belt and bobbin sander, model number COEBSI. This was a true review, unlike those people that most people get the box, they unbox it, they play with it for a couple of weeks, so 3 or 4 weeks, they get really used to it, they know the names of all the parts, they know what works. This wasn't one of those reviews. This was me opening the box, finding out exactly what's going on and doing it with you watching. So warts and all, as they say. Thanks for joining me on the video today. I'll give you some facts and figures in case you're interested in buying one of these. I bought this from Clarke tools themselves. The price, including VAT, because we have to pay 20% VAT in England, was £241. Before that, there's 201, made up of the actual sander itself was 178. The sleeves for the bobbins were £6.90 each, and the sanding belt spare one was £2.90, which is pretty good. So all in all, the price was £241.92. I think that's a fair price. There's not the best one out there. There's far more expensive ones out there, and there's probably some cheaper ones as well. But I wanted to get one with a bobbin sander and a sanding belt as well, because I couldn't afford 2, and you know the size of my workshop, it's not big enough for 2. I'll put the details down in the description below in case you're interested in buying one yourself. But thank you very much for watching today. Hope you liked it. If you do, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell that will tell you when my new videos are coming up. If you like this video, go back through my back catalogue. I've got about a dozen or so videos now, so there may be some other interesting ones there for you. Thank you very much for joining. I'll see you soon. See ya!